So back in February, when Hillary Clinton's numbers were in the tank in New Hampshire, she and the DNC chair wanted to organize an impromptu debate there so that way she can hopefully help her campaign. And in order to agree to this, Bernie Sanders said that she would have to debate him once per month going forward. So she did agree to it, and they had the debate. So now there is one debate left in California, and surprise, surprise, Hillary Clinton is ducking out on it. So, Washington Times explains, Hillary Clinton is ducking her final debate with Senator Bernard Sanders, brushing off a commitment she made earlier this year to participate in a forum in California ahead of the state's June 7th primary. And analysts say the former First Lady is right to do so and could only damage herself in another testy back and forth with the Vermont senator. For her part, Mrs. Clinton seems to think another debate is a waste of time. She declared the Democratic primary over on Thursday, telling CNN that she'll be the party's nominee and training most of her fire on Republican opponent Donald Trump. So the argument is that she has nothing to gain by debating Bernie Sanders at this point in the election. And that may be right, but you do have something to lose by not debating him. You're proving that you're a phony, that you're a fake, that you are bowing out on a debate because you're afraid of Bernie Sanders. Is he really that scary, Hillary? I mean, you are wanting to go up against Donald Trump, but if you can't even go up against a Democratic contender who's still your opponent, how are you going to face Donald Trump and all of his attacks? Because you know he will not be as kind as Bernie Sanders has been to you. So how do you expect to win against Donald Trump? You can't wiggle out of those debates against Donald Trump. You can't do that. You won't have the DNC doing your bidding there. So what are you going to do come November? So Hillary Clinton likes to be cocky and say that this election is over. She's already won. She's the nominee. She's already packing up and getting ready to move into the White House. But what she realizes is that it's still not mathematically impossible for Bernie Sanders to win. If he gets 75% of the vote in California, he would actually pass her in pledged delegates. Now look, that's improbable when you look at actual polling results from California right now, but a debate could swing things in Bernie Sanders' favor, and she's not willing to take a chance there. She is wanting to do any and everything to get Bernie Sanders to drop out so that way she could start attacking Donald Trump. But I've got news for you, Hillary. Many people haven't gone yet. In fact, there's a lot of people in California. So you don't get to just say that the Democratic primary is over. You still have an opponent. His name is Bernie Sanders, and by saying that you're not going to debate him after agreeing to it, it shows that you're a phony. It shows that you don't take him seriously, that you don't respect him, and that's the same way that you've treated his supporters. So if you are willing to just do this in front of everyone, in front of our noses, and say, you know what, I'm going to go back on my word, what makes you think we should believe all of your promises now? Do you think that we believe that you're going to continue to be against the TPP when you do get into office? Well, of course not, and we already didn't believe you, so you're not going to convince us. But you're proving to people that you're a liar. You said you would debate in California, and now you don't want to debate. So either it's the case that you have this election wrapped up and nothing that you do or say can harm you anymore, and you're just going to win anyway, or you actually face the music and debate Bernie Sanders like you initially had planned to, because that's what's right, because California voters deserve to hear the differences between you and Bernie Sanders. You've been so cocky. See, the thing about Hillary Clinton is she thought that she had this wrapped up from the beginning. She did everything she can to rig it. She corroborated with Debbie Do Anything for Hillary, the DNC chair, to rig the debate process so that way it would be on weekends and whatnot. And even when they were setting up debates in other states, she was proposing days, like for example in New York, she was trying to get it during basketball games that were really popular and whatnot. And Bernie Sanders was rejecting it because he's saying nobody will watch those. And then she'd turn around and say, look, we've proposed multiple dates on the weekend at midnight, not actually, but in effect, in times when nobody would watch them. And then she was blaming Bernie Sanders, saying he doesn't want to accept the debates. Well, yeah, because you're trying to hide them away. The point of a debate is for the American people to actually see the differences between you. And if nobody's watching the damn debate, what's the point of it? But that's what Hillary Clinton wants, because again, she has nothing to gain from debating Bernie Sanders, because the more that people hear her, the less they like her, and the more they hear Bernie Sanders, the more they like him. And when you look at actual national trends, you really see that in action. As more and more people learn about Bernie Sanders' progressive policies, well, what he says resonates with them, and that really does scare Hillary Clinton. So she may say that it's over, but in actuality, she's afraid because Bernie Sanders could somehow pull this off. And I wouldn't get too cocky, Hillary, because if it is the case that the FBI recommends that you be indicted, well, that is not going to look very good for you. So I wouldn't get too arrogant. Debate Bernie Sanders, not because you think it'll help or hurt you, but because it's what you agreed to do. Now, my favorite part is the hypocrisy. So this is what Hillary Clinton said about then Senator Obama in 2008 when he refused to participate in the last debate they were scheduled to have. So she said, honestly, I just believe that this is the most important job in the world. It's the toughest job in the world. You should be willing to campaign for every vote. You should be willing to debate anytime, anywhere. I think it's an interesting juxtaposition where we find ourselves. And, I have been willing to do all of that during the entire process, and people have been trying to push me out of this ever since Iowa. Again, this isn't surprising, but it just proves that Hillary Clinton really just doesn't care about us. She really holds Bernie Sanders and his supporters in contempt and doesn't care about the democratic process.